In this episode of Negative Modifier, we'll be playing the game Delta Green. Delta Green, by design, tackles various mature themes that may be uncomfortable or triggering for listeners. Listener discretion is advised. Hey, it's Charlie, Negative Modifier's Game Master. First off, thank you for giving us a listen. As always, expect something horrible to happen to the players. If you're a fan, support us by leaving a review on iTunes. And if you hate the show, consider doing it anyway and enjoying the fact that you've inflicted us on someone else. For the most up-to-date news in the podcast, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. And with that... So it's now what most consider the morning of December 23rd, 1998. It's 7:43. The storm's begun to subside. You've got a little under 4 hours of sleep, give or take at that point. Sunrise was a little over an hour and a half ago. It's still not great outside. The weather has died down some, but the weather's still quite present. You wake up still in Weather Watcher HQ. I'm assuming you all kind of have a shared bunking space at that point, so you're kind of all forced together by that measure. What's the first thing everyone does this morning?
I'm gonna get some food to take with me on the go, and I'm gonna get ready to go talk to some detainees. Not really my field of expertise, but...
Sure.
Well, considering the circumstances of my actions the previous night, am I under any special supervision or quarantine, considering what happened?
I don't know, are you?
I'm asking.
I don't know, are you?
I'm going to operate under the assumption of no, because you're giving me the option to do something.
Am I?
Okay.
You would have no way of knowing, having just woken up, if you're under special scrutiny.
Okay. So then I will get up and I'll go try to have breakfast in the cafeteria, I guess.
You're not going to brush your teeth or anything like that?
You know what? Sure. Let's start my morning routine by brushing my teeth.
I mean, you have corpse breath.
Oh, fuck, you're right. Okay, yes. Well, I'm going to assume that I took a shower and brushed my teeth. I didn't sleep with corpse breath.
You could be a morning person. You could be one of those people that brushes their teeth like once a day. Who knows?
No, I'm not going to bed with fucking corpse breath. No. Ew. I'm assuming I definitely sat in the shower for a while, scrubbing myself, constantly saying forever unclean or something along those lines. But no, okay, for the sake of the character, I wake up and I do my morning routine. I shower.
Acting like nothing's wrong.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I know something's wrong, but yeah. I'm just trying to get ready and then eventually try to go have breakfast.
Last night didn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least, you know what? Actually, I take it back. I'm not trying to have breakfast because the thought of eating anything right now weirds me the fuck out. So instead, I'm going to I'll go try to find Dr. Bemmel.
I have been awake for the past hour, and I'm outside for a jog.
Went for a jog in the cold Alabama air. All right, cool. That means you got like an hour or two of sleep tops.
I would imagine it's like 7,
4 to 7 is only 3 hours.
I will say that's bold of you to go outside after considering last night's weather event.
No, I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just saying that, like, maybe you've adjusted. Yeah, you've probably just adjusted. It's nowhere near as cold as you thought it would be by any measure.
One of my motivations is jogging, and I'm going to take that as far as I can. This event has absolutely disturbed Aideen, and she's not doing great with it. I mean, yes, this excitement of like being able to find concrete data and everything else like that, but also just kind of this eerie feeling of just what the fuck was that sudden like adrenaline shot, just because this woman's an Air Force physicist. I mean, she's probably gone through so much with the Air Force already. So the fact that she can only like sleep for however long, she's out for a jog to clear her head.
Jog the pain away, if you will.
Yes.
No, it makes a lot of sense. And I will say this, you find it far too easy to be outside in the cold. Like, you don't need a heavy jacket. Like, it's almost pleasant outside as far as you can tell. Like, maybe it's just you have your body heat up, like you're running, you're hitting good stride, but also it just doesn't feel as cold as you expected it to. The blizzard is still happening, so it's definitely still around that freezing point, but it's not bad at all. In fact, like maybe you got too warm wearing a coat of some kind.
Yes, more than likely I probably went out for a walk and then it turned into a jog and then I just started disrobing. Not like completely, but like disrobing in a weird sort of manner.
You come back with like your winter coat balled up under your arm or something like that.
The mess hall, just sweat turned into icicles. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that makes sense. So And kind of as you all are making your way to breakfast, to work, to find Dr. Bimmel, you're intercepted by Dr. Bimmel, who kind of like gestures you into the conference room you originally were kind of read in, and she kind of gestures you in, kind of does the shush motion as she's doing that. Do you follow?
Yeah.
I nod my head in acknowledgement, and I sit down.
All right. So she's standing there. She looks tired. The last few hours have not been great for her, as best you can guess. They've not been great for anyone here. There's definitely kind of a vibe around headquarters at this point. Things feel tense, definitely, and they look tense, and you can read the tension on Bimmel's face as she looks at you all, and she goes, I understand last night was rough and a little bit crazy, but I gave you all tasks. I expected them to get done. Yes, I know debriefing some detainees isn't what we normally do, but everything else got done, correct?
Yes, to my knowledge, it did.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, because Harris is breathing down my neck. He's got an injured agent who won't talk about what happened. I know we talked last night, but since then, some shit's gone down. Harris is on the warpath. He's storming around, just accusing people of things. He asked me if I was one of them, and I didn't know what the hell he was talking about, and that seemed to satisfy him, but I'd recommend go dealing with the detainees ASAP and then getting to work. I saw you got some data. If we can find out what's going on here, the faster we do that, the faster we all can get the hell out of here, and the faster we all can get away from Harris and get back to our normal lives. Do I make sense?
As always, yes.
Understood. Would you like for me to set up the data for you?
Yes, please. I didn't know it's analyzed yet. I saw you had about 6 hours worth or so. I figured you hadn't gotten to that yet, just given, the night we all had.
Well, I have some hard evidence in terms of some recordings, field, and I believe video as well. And then whatever I could jot down or at least translate in that aspect. I will need the full team to look over this, just because I would like to get more of your perspectives on what I was able to find. But otherwise, I do believe I collected a significant amount of interesting numbers.
As you're saying that, the door flies open and Agent Harris steps through. Good morning, Project Pluto.
Good morning, Agent Harris.
Yes. I assume we all had a productive evening?
Indeed.
Productive, successful. You as well?
Indeed. Stares directly at Dr. Schuler. Now, I understand things got a tad out of hand last night, but we all are professionals here, and I'd like answers ASAP. I noticed we still have the detainees. Have you finished with them yet? I'm more than willing to process them through and let them go if you have.
No, I was about to head over and speak with them. They should be good to go within the hour.
His eyes kind of narrow at this. I thought you were dealing with them last night. Ah, well. It was a hectic night, I suppose.
Yeah, I had to go over my notes for the autopsy last night, too. Time just got the better of me.
Did you now, Dr. Schuler?
Yes.
Well, I stopped by to introduce your escorts for today. 2 men step in behind him, again dressed in the same kind of nondescript black suits. May I introduce you to Agent Motley and Agent Williams?
Nice to meet you, gentlemen.
They both nod, never breaking eye contact with Dr. Schuler.
Is there something you boys want to ask me?
They just kind of shrug and eventually break eye contact and kind of move about the room to get comfortable. So, doctors, anything to report after last night? I know you were busy working on things. People were out in the field. People were cutting up bodies. Anything of note transpire?
Kind of casually interrupt. I was able to experience the phenomenon that the pilots had experienced firsthand. I do have some video recordings and audio recordings, as well as some field data of the weather readings. Unfortunately, I was in the middle of a blizzard, so I couldn't do too much as I only have 2 hands. But otherwise, my research is with me. I still have it packed away, and I would like an area to set up and kind of present this data.
Yes, your escort last night mentioned that you had a fair amount of field readings. Excellent to hear. That sounds like good progress. Excellent indeed.
How is he? He was feeling a little glum, so to say, when I was doing my research.
That is of no concern to you, Doctor. You were fortunate enough to be away from headquarters at the time, but there was a bout of what I'm choosing to believe was localized madness. We had a few fatalities as a result of it. some reports of some truly erratic behavior. Looks at Dr. Merlo while he says that, but reportings of exactly what happened are mixed at best.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to suddenly just kind of continue my research right now. Do you have the time frames as to when this madness had happened? I would like to see if that lines up with any of the energy spikes that I noticed last night in my readings.
He nods at this. I believe it occurred roughly around 1:43 a.m., around the same time that horrible screaming sound was.
Say a screaming sound was heard and then the event started?
Like a shrieking, screaming sound was heard during the event.
Was it coming from like the source of the event?
You would have no way of knowing that. Major Dempsey also definitely heard it. You all heard it. Hard to miss.
So we did hear it though, but like we would be able to tell at least if it happened during the event or like if basically did the sound come from like, I guess some sort of like, how can I phrase my question better? Hold on.
It was not a human sounding scream or screech or sound. Like,
Okay.
It was not just someone screaming in pain. It was something unhuman.
But whatever that sound was, did that sound originate from where the event started from? Like, because theoretically, the storm event started from a location and worked its way outward, is how we saw it, correct?
No?
No, it just all of a sudden just stormed all over the area at once, kind of thing?
The blizzard's been ongoing. The blizzard kind of picked up as is normal for weather. Weather patterns happen, like the storms get better and worse throughout their kind of time frame. I guess to kind of remind you of the time frame of the previous day, around 7:40, 7:45, storm got worse. That was when that storm started to get worse. That's before you arrived. So the entire time you were there, the blizzard's been slowly getting worse or building towards a crescendo. And then this event happened, and around the time you're waking up, the storm died down some. Few hours after sunrise.
Gotcha. Okay.
And this screaming, you did hear the screaming because I was outside when I experienced that. Was it like loud or was it faint?
Unmissably loud. I assumed it was some type of mechanical sound. It sounded to me like the tearing of, I don't know, metal on metal of some kind.
Okay, because when I experienced it, actually I should have recordings of it or at least some sort of data on it. If we can triangulate between, or find another source to be able to triangulate.
As your babbling kind of holds up a hand, that is what you're here for, researchers. If you have work to do, please get to it and help locate this. On that note, as a reminder, I can assign you Bluefy personnel to assist with the more legwork-oriented tasks as needed. Perhaps it's time to search the local town of Willis more thoroughly.
Collecting more field data would... Yeah, absolutely. Perfect.
Very good. I will alert Major Farrell, and he will assign you some personnel. Kind of cups his hands in front of him. If that is all, it sounds like you have a busy day ahead of you. Do you need anything else to continue your work?
I think that was everything that we needed to know, at least.
Understood. I will have Major Farrell locate you when he's ready to hand over Bluefy personnel. I do hope you have a productive day, doctors. And kind of throws out the door you came in a couple minutes ago. Your escorts are left there with you. Dr. Bimmel seems tense. Harris did not seem in the best mood through all of that. The vibe in the room has gotten tenser somehow. Bimmel kind of takes a deep breath, looks at all of you. Well, with that in mind, I suppose our little meeting's over. You have data to analyze. Anything you need from me before you get to it?
I look at Bimmel a little curiously. I furrow my brow, and I raise my finger to make the shush motion as well, and then kind of shrug afterward and point to the door that Agent Harris had left in kind of like an inquisitive manner, asking, like, why did we need to shush? Was it because of him?
You're not saying any of that out loud. I do have your two escorts in the room with you that are Harris's people.
Yes. Bimmel and I have worked together before, and so I would imagine that we could kind of communicate in a bit of a discreet manner with our familiarity. So that was all completely nonverbal.
Yeah, it's that kind of look of, was that the reason for the shush? And Bimmel kind of seeing that nod slowly at that, like, so slowly it looks like she's just kind of bobbing her head some, like she's definitely trying to make it so your new escorts do not pick up on that look and this interaction, definitely.
I kind of bob my head kind of in a shoulder rolling motion as well. kind of looking like I'm shaking off a little bit of the morning jog.
Yeah, so Bimmel kind of pushes off the desk some, notes your new escorts, notes that they're different escorts from yesterday, kind of looks at all of you, maybe shrugs a little bit and kind of goes, well, we have to continue on the work. It appears that Major Dempsey has made some promising leads last night. You could all assist in tracking that down. Looks at Dr. Schuler. Were there any interesting findings in the autopsy? I read some of the preliminary findings, but I wanted to hear it from the horse's mouth. Something about body temperature retention, or lack of, I suppose, is the more accurate phrase.
Yeah, no matter what I was doing, I couldn't heat up any of the anything that came off those bodies. I was going to run some more tests to see if the cells could be destroyed or if they were more resistant to that too, but fire wasn't heating them up and like that. They've just held this same temperature the entire time. Even the time that we had them out on the slab, there wasn't any fluctuations.
She nods at this. When I stuck my head, it looked like there'd been a scuffle of some kind. I know things got a tad crazy last night, but one of the bodies appeared to be a tad torn up. Was there an accident during the autopsy?
As I'm speaking, I just kind of like shake my head back and forth, kind of like indicating like, yes, but I'm not going to say what it was. I'm going to say, well, yes, there was a bit of a scuffle that took place about the time where everything went down last night.
I look visibly nervous while this is going on.
All I can say is I don't remember much of it. I, like everyone else, had been affected by whatever had happened last night.
Give me a persuade on that.
Oh boy.
I have a question. Could I just do charisma instead?
Sure.
All right. Let's see if I'm any good at either of those things.
See if you can talk your way out of this.
10 out of 75 success.
Yeah, it's a plausible enough explanation. Things did indeed get crazy, and I mean, it's not like anything crazy got recorded on film or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, to be clear, like, while I'm talking to Dr. Bimmel, I'm kind of giving her that look like, I've got more to tell you, but not right now.
yeah, she kind of returns a look of understood. She kind of claps her hand. Well, it sounds like we have a busy day ahead of ourselves. Major Dempsey, I'll leave organizing the Blue Fly team to you. Someone needs to go interview the detainees, or you can just let them go. I suspect they won't have much useful to say at this point. I suspect if you tell your escorts to deal with that, they can probably handle that for you. Kind of looks at your two escorts real quick.
Actually, is it possible if I could borrow one of the escorts as one of my bodyguards? I do want to ask about some things regarding the detainees.
One of them stands up and goes, yeah, I'll go with you. I helped bring them in, so why not?
Thank you. And you are...
Kind of looks at you. Does it really matter?
No, it doesn't actually.
Motley. Agent Motley.
That's what it was. Motley Crew. Okay, gotcha. Mnemonics. Helps you remember. Well, let's get to it then.
Yeah, whatever. Let's go talk to some people.
Schuyler, did you also want to attend to the detainees? I remember you making mention of that during this morning's routine.
Oh, no. I was just going to get it done because it had to get done. But if you want to do it, more than happy to leave you to it.
Oh, okay. And then, Merlot, are you okay? You look a little... I don't have the word for it. You look a little ghoulish.
I'm fine. I'll be fine.
Okay. Well, rest up then. Honestly, it's a little unsettling. And I leave, but I do leave my winter coat on the table.
What do you have to go do? Start processing data?
I want to collect one more piece of data before I start going into the big things. I want to start interviewing the detainees about what they experienced around, what was it, 1:49 in the morning?
Sure.
With the big scream?
1:44, but yes.
1:44. Thank you.
All right. So you have to go do interviews. Your Schuler, Erlo, what do you off to do at this point?
To go assist the interviews, since I was, there after all.
Perhaps you want to help me with some work?
Sure. That's fine. Yeah.
I guess if I might recommend something to kind of delve into, both of you witnessed some weird last night. This is maybe a little bit more in kind of Schuler's background, but psychologically, medically, that's a whole thing you could try maybe go into. Also, Merlo, you could also start digging into the data that Dempsey collected type of thing.
What I was suggesting is I want to run tests on Merlo.
I was gonna ask: is there is there like an equipment to do some sort of like brain scan stuff?
Maybe not brain scans necessarily, but what type of scans are you looking to do? Or what, I guess, what type of testing are you looking to do?
I mean, I want to make sure that they're medically sound. I want to take some cell samples and see what's going on with her. I want to make sure that there's nothing out of the ordinary beyond beyond my expertise.
No, yeah, you can spend some time definitely kind of confirming she's still a normal human, if you will.
So we could just do just a standard physical then.
Yeah.
And does this facility have a lab to do like a full round of blood work?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that would be.
I mean, Schuler's whole background is microbiology. They're not going to bring in a microbiologist and not have the equipment for him to do such things, hypothetically.
Oh, true. But I was just wondering, considering, the events and everything going on, I don't know if that equipment's functional.
Not as best you can tell. Nothing got damaged. Just some people got injured or worse, it seems.
Okay, then yeah, I would be totally cool with subjecting myself to a full-on physical.
Sure.
And whatever kind of like specifically we could test like motor function, skills like that, just to kind of see if anything's out of the ordinary.
Yeah, sounds good.
And then I can go over the data, but I think checking myself out would be the first thing I'd want to do.
Major Dempsey, would you like to send off the Blue Fly team before you start working with detainees, or do you want to save that for after?
Sure, Merlot, do you need any assistance with anything physical? I mean, I was thinking about sending some of the Blue Fly team members to assemble some of the equipment that I wasn't able to get to last night.
Oh, they're not good for that. They're just military grunts. They can search and stuff, but assembly is not really their thing.
I mean, perhaps you should send them into Willis proper, see what they can scrounge up.
Honestly, yes, I think that would be good. I wasn't actually able to make it to Willis. I was able to make it to the lake, which was where I saw the phenomena happen, but I didn't actually end up in Willis. I think I might send... Actually, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Investigate Willis proper, and honestly, I want to get some samples from the lake itself. Maybe we could send out a small crew to collect some surface water as well as some water samples from the lake after that whole... Oh man, I can't believe I caught it on tape. Like, you have to see this. I'm so excited to show you later.
Yeah, excited isn't what I'd describe what we're dealing with here, or exciting rather.
I mean, to be honest, we're dealing with a unique meteorological event that honestly should not happen. In my field of work, I mean, I see strange things, I guess. Weather can just be so unpredictable, but to have something so up close and so focused, I mean, I can't exactly speak of this later, but may or may not be taking some personal notes for myself.
Yeah, no, there's definitely something weird going on. These bodies shouldn't be freezing the way they are.
Actually, yeah. What brief synopsis? What did you guys find?
The data still needs to be parsed over, but basically the long story short is the bodies and all the cells within are maintaining a perfect temperature that does not fluctuate with anything that we have done to it. That's been exposing it to heaters, flames, and various other substances.
So the body temperature does not rise, but does it fall?
No.
Okay. Have you exposed one of the bodies to extreme cold?
Yeah, we don't really have a way to do that other than taking them outside.
I mean, you could always take them outside. It is a corpse after all. It can't really feel anything.
I'll take it into advisement.
But yes, I'm going to go interview these detainees and then maybe regroup and exchange notes. Sorry, I really want you to see these numbers, and I really need to get your input on this.
All right. Well, we'll talk soon, Merlot. While we get to the lab.
Yeah, sooner the better.
All right, so the detainees are being kept in a kind of improvised jail of some kind in one of the trailers. They have guards. There's two of them. Paperwork identifies them as Eddie Thorpe and Ellie Foster. Who do you want to talk to first?
Let's talk to Ellie Foster.
All right. So what's your approach?
I will walk up to Ellie Foster. Hello, my name is Valerie Cooper. I'm here to ask you a couple questions before you leave. Consider this an exit interview, if you will.
Well, now that's very nice of you. I would love to get out of here. My name's Ellie Foster. I was brought in God, must be yesterday, 2 days ago, by your kind of looks at the various guards. Friends here, I suppose. I do hope everything's okay.
Everything is being handled as best as we can. There was a little bit of an anomaly that happened last night that I do just want to ask you about, making sure that you personally are of good health and stature despite of it.
Oh my, yes, I was all that horrible screeching and all that sound last night and the people going crazy. Hard to believe that has to do with nuclear materials.
Now, Ellie, I just want to just kind of get the facts. I'm a new caseworker for you two. I will be interviewing Mr. Eddie Thorpe after this. Otherwise, how old are you?
Kind of looks at you. What does it matter? And Eddie Thorpe's my son-in-law. He's married to my daughter, Amanda.
Gotcha. So, Miss Ellie, you said you were taken in yesterday. From where exactly?
At the security checkpoint. I need to get home. Amanda's quite pregnant right now, and she can't be left alone like this long.
Understood. Where exactly is, if you don't mind me asking you about Amanda's place of residence, unfortunately, it is something that we still have to make sure that there is safe clearance for those who are working with the radioactive cleanup. I will, if anything, I'll make sure to send a team out just to do some radiation checks and make sure that the infant is okay.
Well, that's just it. As a retired nurse, I feel like I could be doing more out there in town than here all locked up. I would ever so like to help.
So, Miss Ellie, unfortunately, that is something that we would absolutely love some assistance with, but we are trained professionals in that this is something that nuclear scientists have a handle on. We have the means of taking care of this on our end, and we don't want to endanger any more citizens further.
Oh, pish posh. I'd rather be out there helping than anything else.
Anyway, Miss Ellie, when were you taken in? At what time?
Give me a persuade.
Wow, I really walked into this with no skills in talking whatsoever. 93% failure in persuasion.
All right, so not only did you fail, Ellie critted on her roll opposing you on this one. So she kind of looks at you, does that kind of nurse stare that gets you to confess things. Well, I'll give you an option. You have to confess something real or lose 1d6 willpower.
Can you give me like a couple minutes?
Sure.
Because this is interesting. God fucking damn it, Ellie. Roll 20 RNGs. So in confessing something real, it's going to be confessing...
Maybe fessing up it's not a nuclear situation. Maybe fessing up that something real weird did happen last night. Maybe even just saying, look, something strange is indeed going on and we're not quite sure what's up. All of these would qualify for that, or come up with your own, but also she's a detainee.
All right, Miss Ellie, I understand. In truth, I cannot say I do not have a handle on this situation. I have sent out some folks to survey the town of Willis and see just exactly what type of damage there is. That we still have yet to fully comprehend due to blizzards, due to just manpower, anything else like that. My apologies if my bedside manner is a bit rusty. Surely
My stars. Are people hurt? Have there been deaths? Oh, I do hope Amanda's okay.
There have been a few deaths, and this is why we are doing our best to be extremely careful with this. But speaking of just last night, from what I've heard and what I've actually experienced myself, did you experience anything weird within the past 24 hours?
I felt truly terrified for about a minute or so. But back to my daughter. If you're saying people have indeed been hurt and whatnot, have they identified bodies? Have they collected them anyway? Could you maybe see if Amanda was one of the people that was injured?
Yes, that's something that I can do. And I'll see if I can report back on that. Amanda, I would imagine her last name would be Thorpe?
Yes. As I said, her husband's right over there. He called me after he got into a bit of a ruckus at the checkpoint, I guess is what you're calling it.
Gotcha. Well, if anything else, I do want to kind of go back to you. I just want to make sure that you're good as well. I mean, as a nurse, you should understand just making sure that, like, to take care of those who can help right now and then, triage and all that other sense. This truly terrified experience, was it something that was just like a panic attack, or was it like almost something that was driving you into a fit of violence, or?
I've never felt anything like it. I was just overcome with an immense fear, and one of the guards started kind of clawing at the walls. Were you not here last night? It was truly terrifying.
I was actually outside trying to gauge the situation. Other than the guard, did you hear anything by chance, or?
Well, no, but Eddie did start screaming he was going to kill them all and get out of here and get to Amanda, but he's mighty protective that way. He's a good boy that way.
Gotcha. And then your daughter, Amanda, how far along is she in her pregnancy?
As I said, 9 months. Very pregnant. It's part of why Eddie's so worried. He tries to check in on her, and I guess he couldn't. She's at that point where it starts being hard for her to do things all by herself. Part of why he called me in.
When was the last time you had contact?
Well, depending on what day it is today, I'm assuming today is tomorrow at this point, so about a day ago.
This happened all within 24 hours? Okay.
She also has no sense of how much time has passed since she's been locked up here necessarily.
Okay. Do you have a specific day that you said, like, was it like on a Monday? Do you have a date by chance?
I definitely talked to her on the 21st.
Well, it's the 23rd today. So it's been
oh my stars! I've been here an entire day.
It's that's why we are trying to make sure that we can get this exit interview done and wrapped up, so that way you can go along your merry way. Is there any other kind
you
of
people should be ashamed of yourself, detaining me from my pregnant daughter, detaining him from his pregnant wife. You need to let us go right goddamn now.
All in due time. We need to make sure that you guys are all right, and then it is safe for you to enter further into the town of Willis. Like I said, we unfortunately do not know the scope of the damage that's happened, which is why Miss Amanda Thorpe, do you have any other kind of descriptors or anything else like that I can have just to make sure that she's okay and I can report back to you about what I find?
Oh, long brown hair, glasses, 9 goddamn months pregnant.
I see that this is upsetting you. If anything, thank you so much for your time. I will be talking to Mr. Eddie as well. Have you two been talking at all? How far are they, like, in terms of detaining?
They probably can see each other. They're probably about 10 or so feet apart.
Okay.
We talked some when I first was brought in, but glares at the guards. They were not so welcoming to the concept of us conversing.
Understood. And then, Miss Ellie, are you currently feeling any kind of way right now? Are you feeling cold? Are you feeling hot? Is there anything I can help you with?
I'm feeling like I'm being detained without reason and that my daughter might need me. If you could check in on her, that would be greatly appreciated.
Understood. And then I will head over to Eddie.
Yeah. So Eddie has been gagged.
Can anyone fix this?
One of the guards comes over, undoes it, looks at you, and kind of says, "You're gonna regret this."
Oh boy.
Mr. Eddie, I am, again, very sorry for the situation that we have, but unfortunately that is something that bureaucracy, public safety, all that other fun jazz. I don't know if you had overheard my conversation with your mother-in-law, but we are doing our best to get a handle on the situation, and if anything, I'm going to do my best, my personal best, to help you in making sure that your wife and your child, whether or not born, is okay. My name is Valerie Cooper. How are you doing?
This you.
Phenomenal. So, Mr. Eddie...
Fuck your training exercise, fuck this whole thing, fuck your guards, let me go so I can go help my wife. I need to see my wife.
Understood, Mr. Eddie Thorpe. But here's the thing, and I want to use my bureaucracy skill.
What are you trying to do?
No, I'm confusing bureaucracy with law.
I mean, what are you trying to do?
So I was trying to threaten him with kind of legalese, threaten him with detaining him even further or anything else like that, but really just trying to like use kind of legal jargon to kind of confuse him into complying. Like the over explanation into confusion and then like the subterfuge of that.
So you could probably bureaucratize your way through that. Is your bureaucracy or is your military science higher?
My bureaucracy is higher.
What's your bureaucracy at?
40.
Let's see your roll for that, yeah. See how this kind of applies.
6% success, baby.
So what are you focusing on? Just kind of overwhelming him with jargony phrases and whatnot, or trying to be like there's a lot of paperwork we have to get through? What's the approach to kind of imply that he's not going anywhere unless he starts behaving and complying?
I get into my U.S. Air Force major mode, and I'm going to be very stern and whatnot. And I will just start kind of approaching him, kind of like I'm like one of the guys, but not really. But also, I am socially and more disciplined, socially powered and disciplined than he is. He seems like the type that would see the military figure and immediately kind of submit to it due to his values.
Going that kind of tighten up soldier approach to it, if you will.
Exactly.
Yeah. And kind of using the backdrop of kind of a rigid structure to back up your power, if you will.
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah, no, that works. So give me a human int as you're doing this kind of thing. Like, I'm assuming you have like, I'm not going to say it's a full body transformation, but kind of your posture change.
Oh, 90% failure for that human int.
I mean, he still seems hostile, but there's a small kind of change maybe to him as you're observing it, because, okay, fuck it. I'll tell you what happened. I reached your little checkpoint at 4:33, I guess yesterday at this point, 4:33 a.m. Blizzard had happened. I had tried calling my wife. She hadn't picked up. I call her every night. I was out driving. It's my job. I called her around 4 a.m. I like to say good morning if I'm out at that time. Little cute thing we do. She didn't pick up. I tried coming back to town. That's where your soldier boys out front stopped me, and, well, now I'm fucking here.
Gotcha. Can you please tell me anything you could describe Amanda, your wife, and whatnot? Does she have any kind of health conditions? Is outside of being incredibly pregnant, is it like high blood pressure? Does she have any kind of situations in regards to it?
I'm not sure how familiar or unfamiliar you are with the pregnancy process, but a woman in the 9 month of that whole process is in a bit of a delicate state. She's been a bit of a bumbling oaf, can't really stand up all that well. If she fell over, I'm not really sure she'd get back up. Emergency or non type of thing. Her center of mass ain't exactly what it's used to be, and, well, she's carrying a little another human inside of her. I'm not sure if you got any nieces or nephews or anything like that, but that whole process kind of physically, emotionally, mentally, everything drains a woman, and I'd say she's handling it well, but at the same time, she's 9 goddamn months pregnant, and, well, she's 9 goddamn months pregnant. Ellie's been helping out some, but yeah, I just worried about her.
Gotcha, understood. Now, you were driving in. Where was Miss Ellie Foster? Was she with you as you were driving in?
They wouldn't let me in. I called the sheriff. I called 911. I called her. I'm not saying I lost my temper unjustly. This is all bullshit, and this is bullshit, but, like,
understandably so.
Maybe I took a swing at someone. Maybe 3 of your guards beat my ass a little bit out by the checkpoint. I'm sorry. I just want to know what happened with my wife. I heard you talking to my mother-in-law. If you can confirm she's okay, I'm guessing you have some type of log or something that would be kind of like strings a little bit as a person. That would be really appreciated. I'm just worried about my wife. We're ways out from things. If something happens, well, I'm not sure if you've been to Willis before, but we're not exactly a multiple doctor ER that can handle pregnancy problems type of town. You following?
I understood. Do you know the name of the local doctor?
He shrugs. He's like, I wouldn't know off the top of my head. Sorry.
Gotcha.
I'm sure I do, but she handles that type of stuff.
Understood. Mr. Eddie, you made this call how far away from Willis?
At the checkpoint. So wherever we are now, and the distance from here to where your army buddies are hanging out, that distance.
Gotcha. And then last question. I heard that there was a little bit of a mood swing, per se, from yesterday. I understand that this is a very frustrating time for you. By chance, are you still feeling a little bit of an adrenaline rush right now? How are you currently doing?
I mean, I want to get the hell out of here. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be being asked the same questions over and over, but...
like physically. I just want to make sure that both of you are healthy to be able to kind of go along. Again, this is something that is a little bit of sensitive. I mean, radiation is such a wild card when it comes to health issues. It seems as if there was something that happened last night. I just want to make sure that...
Whoa. Who said anything about radiation?
Is that not what was communicated to you at the roadblock?
Your friends up front told me there was some type of training exercise going on.
Oh, I fucked up. Yes. So it seems that I've let a little bit too loose.
Yeah, I heard you talk to my mother-in-law. She's got a nose for these types of things. Tell you what, you go find out if my wife's okay. Let me know, and I'll be the model prisoner until you can let my ass out of here. Good?
Good. Thank you for your cooperation.
Yeah, whatever. Looks at the guard. You gonna gag me again, or are we gonna be nice this time? Guard just kind of shrugs at that. So are you off to investigate the dead to see if Amanda Thorpe is amongst the dead?
That's where the other two are, correct? They were looking at they were dealing with Ish. Gotcha. I'll regroup and meet up with them, and then I'll just kind of start looking through the things. More than likely, I will find her name, and I just need to figure out how to lay this on them easy. Because if I recall correctly, there are no survivors in the town of Willis.
Well, do you want to go confirm, I guess? Like, maybe you can bring back an effect of some kind, or confirm she passed peacefully or something like that?
I think yes. And then, if anything...
And I guess to remind you, too, Merlot and Schuler are off kind of being a little bit sneaky. They have their own little side project they're attending to.
Gotcha.
But you're off to go confirm the status of Amanda Thorpe?
Time to look up some death certificate.
Yeah, so the morgue is indeed a grisly place. As we've already covered, it's just 24 bodies, a trailer type of thing. Going through takes a little bit of time, but you do eventually find Amanda Thorpe. You're going to regret doing that.
Oh, no.
So the body that Dr. Marlowe was chowing down on the night before
Oh, no.
was a pregnant woman. The name tag reads Amanda Thorpe.
Oh.
Do I notice the bite marks?
Oh, yeah, it's quite obvious. And to make it worse, somehow they missed it the night before, or something else has happened since the initial incident. Her belly has been torn open. More chunks of her missing than were probably accounted for when Schuler and Marlowe were there.
What the fuck?
Her belly was torn open?
Yep. And part of the developed baby is still in there.
Oh.
I look at her chart. Is there any notes about, like, how the body was received? Any kind of markings?
Says received in normal condition. No obvious signs of death. No accounting for bite marks or anything like that.
Okay, cool. When was that report taken?
Upon arrival. Before the autopsy was conducted.
Tight. So then this, I now know a time frame that this would have happened with the belly torn open. I look through the logs and I want to see if there are any more pregnant victims.
Few others, but this one's tagged Amanda Thorpe. There's no denying that this is Amanda Thorpe.
Oh no, I want to see if this has all happened to like any other pregnant.
All the other bodies seem pretty intact.
Were there any kind of obvious signs of like gore or like blood around Amanda's like locker, I guess? Or
no blood. You're not a surgeon or a doctor of that type of any measure, but you know bite marks when you see them. You know kind of a ripped open chest cavity when you see one. You know a ripped open kind of stomach when you see one. You know a partially eaten baby when you see one. Give me a sand check.
Oh.
Fucking went hometown buffet on this shit. Let's roll a sanity check.
Oh no.
I fumbled that with the 55%.
Oh.
My sanity is 54%. Like, what?
Wow.
What? Absolute. It's the Father Faustus has come to haunt me once more.
All right, so let's paint the picture. You pull this body out. You find this pregnant woman, the two people that you've just talked to are so concerned about. You pull her out kind of thing. You look at her, and she's just been chewed on. Like, cannibalism would be bad, but this is so much worse. 15 points of sand damage to helpless.
15?
You fumbled.
Holy shit. Did you say 15?
Yes.
The max I could offload is 4. So even then I'm taking like an 11-point hit, and that's going to push me below break.
This is traumatic. Like, you're ex-Air Force. You've seen some things, but like, this is fucked. There's no other word for it. Like, if the other two are aware of this, they kept that from you. If they're not aware of this, that means that something or someone is breaking into the morgue and feeding on people.
Okay. Fuck me. Okay, cool.
Well, this is full on breakdown territory too. Like you are.
I'm checking in helplessness. Is it willpower to burn through offload?
Let's do that 1d4 for that offload if you're doing it.
Or maybe
taking it down from 15 to an 11 still.
Sorry, Dr. Merlot, but like that shit's fucked. 11 is fine. That's going to put me at 43. That's still something. That does put me past my breaking point of 44. So, Wheel of Misfortune, turn. Tell me what disorder that I will learn. I will gain.
I'll say paranoia feels appropriate. Like
paranoia it is.
I mean, you're a scientist and you're seeing signs of cannibalism, something eating a strange dead body. Like, take a step back and look at this whole situation. You're flown into a blizzard in the middle of nowhere, Alabama. The night before, you hear horrible screeching noises. Swear you see like frost sweeping up across your body. See an insane light shower, finding radiation readings and all other types of stuff. And then you come back here, go to bed, and wake up the next morning and find a desecrated pregnant body just in the morgue of this. No part of this is okay.
So Aideen Dempsey is going to drop everything that she's holding, take a few steps back, and stumble into one of the examination tables. From there, she'll kind of collapse and just, like, she's going to throw off her gloves and just continue wiping her hands on her clothing.
Oh, to make it worse, you're wearing a hazmat suit for this, because you have to have a hazmat suit. You're dealing with the dead.
Oh, yeah, you're right. So I'm capable enough to hold on to the fact that, like, I am not taking off or breaking, like, quarantine or anything else like that. But the sheer fact that I'm trapped inside a hazmat suit, inside this trailer, basically, really with nothing to support me. I don't even think the agent Motley is there or anything else like that.
You probably stay outside. I just want to bother putting on the hazmat suit. Yeah.
So I am going to kind of fall and fumble onto the ground while I have a quiet panic attack, and fog starts steaming my hazmat visor as I start uncontrollably quietly sobbing.
Sounds about right for the situation. And with all that in mind, we're going to jump over now to Dr. Merlot and Dr. Schuler as they're conducting their little investigation into what Dr. Merlot's condition is. So what are you doing to kind of investigate this?
So we're going to do a full physical.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my best. I'm not trained in anything like mental in the field of medicine, but physically going to make sure everything's okay. I'm also going to take skin samples. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to tell Merlot right away, but I'm going to compare them to the samples that I took from the bodies and see if there are any similarities. And also probably give her a cocktail of drugs that will help her pass whatever she ate yesterday.
Sure. What do you tell your escort is the reason you're doing this?
Oh, I don't tell him we're doing this at all. I go to a lab and basically explain that I'm going to be working with hazardous chemicals. And if he wants to join us in the lab, he's going to have to get into a hazmat suit with us. And
yeah, that's enough for him to kind of wait outside for some chunk of this. So you confirm that, yeah, Dr. Merlot is normal. You both are finding it a little bit harder and harder to be inside. Like, it's a little bit warm in here, but not too bad. Like, maybe it's time to turn off these heaters type of thing. Like, maybe it's adapting to it, who knows, or just wearing one too many layers. That happens, you've heard, but yeah.
What's your temperature like?
All right, so both Merlot and your temperatures have dropped to 5 degrees Celsius, aka 41 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wait, they've dropped to that level?
That's what you're naturally at right now, and you feel fine.
I'm going to check the cell samples I took from Merlot. I'm going to see if I can warm them up.
They warm up, they also start to cook a little bit.
Ooh. Okay, so they're not maintaining a...
No, they're not doing that weird keeping cold thing.
So I look over at Schuler and say, if I'm reading this right, we should be dead right now. There's no way our bodies can sustain this temperature. Do you feel like you're freezing? Because I don't feel like I'm freezing. In fact, I feel warm.
Oh, hold on. This has got to be wrong. Let me check it again. Here, lift your tongue up.
Okay, so I lift my tongue up.
I'm going to do the test again and take the temperature.
Same result. 5 degrees Celsius, 41 degrees Fahrenheit.
is there anything in the room that we can custom set a temperature to? Like if we were gonna like set like a, I don't know, for example, an oven or something, or like some sort of like some heat source, we can set it to like, let's say 50 degrees Fahrenheit or something like that. Is there anything in the room that we can do that with?
Sure. Yeah, what are you trying to do with that, I guess?
Basically want to test the equipment. So like I want to, for example, you know how you can set an oven?
Yeah, it's all working perfectly normal. Like all calibration of these things comes back. That's working perfectly normal.
I want to, I guess, like check Merlot's blood pressure. I want to see if like any signs of like what would happen to a person as their temperature got low is happening, or if she's just functioning as she would normally.
What's your medicine at?
70 in microbiology and 70 in medicine.
Oh, that's more than enough to realize that, like, looking at this, you kind of hypothesize that it sure seems like something is absorbing body heat and replacing its biological functions with something else.
Something else is replacing something else in my body. Did I hear that right?
Let me say it again. Something seems to be absorbing body heat and replacing its biological functions with another unseen energy.
Okay. Is there something physical that we can see that's like replacing the energy? Because obviously I'm assuming that there's something there that we can... Something has to be there, like some sort of layer of something.
Something's doing it.
Okay.
Not that you're finding, though.
Is there an X-ray machine in the room?
Yeah, there is one.
Okay. I'm going to look over and shoot her say, really quick, let's just do some X-rays, because there's got to be something that's we're not seeing.
Yeah, let me take a blood sample before we do that, okay?
Okay. I go ahead and offer up my arm so they can take a blood sample.
Sure.
I'll take the blood sample, and I want to look. I want to look at the cells. I want to look at the blood. I want to see if there's anything weird going on at the cellular level.
Nah, it appears to be normal. Again, your body heat provides certain energy to the body in general and kind of performs certain tasks that are kind of... It's an energy source at that point. Something is absorbing that heat and then replacing that function somehow. Both of you give me a sand check.
Let's go, sand check time!
3 out of 49 success.
50 out of 45 failure.
All right, so if you passed, just 1 point of sand damage. If you failed, 1d6 sand damage.
1d6?
Yep.
I would like to pass, what do they call it?
Offload?
Offload, there we go.
All right, yeah. See that willpower.
I'm going to pass it right on off to Dr. Bimmel.
Let's see that 1d4.
1. So I only take 1 willpower away, right?
Yep.
And I can pass up to how many? Only 1, right?
Yeah.
All right.
What was the damage you took, though? You didn't roll it.
2. Not so bad. Doesn't matter.
Right.
I'll pass that one of those off to Dr. Bimmel.
All right. So, and as you're prepping the X-ray machine, you realize that the film for the X-ray machine has all been exposed. It's useless. It is properly stored, though. Like, it does not make sense that it was exposed somehow.
Well, shit. Okay, Merlot. We cannot tell anyone what we just found until we can get alone with Bimble and Dempsey. All right?
Assuming we live this long, I mean...
No, I looked at you. You're not in any, like, form of hypothermia or your body shutting down. You are as fit as you were before you arrived here.
Yeah, I don't feel any weird symptoms, so there's definitely... Have you checked yourself as well?
I'll do the same thing. I'll run the same tests on myself.
Same results?
Yeah. Okay. Can you ask our escort to come in here?
Yeah, 1 sec. I go outside and I signal for our escort to come in and ask them if they can step inside for a second.
Yeah, what do you want?
Yeah, can I just take your temperature real fast? I need to get a baseline for some tests.
The things I do for my country. Yeah, sure, whatever.
Hey, I'm going to take his temperature.
Same?
Same as us.
Yep.
The exact same?
Yep.
Like no decimal point difference? Everything's baseline exact the same?
Yep.
Thank you. You can go back outside now.
Kind of looks at you confused, eyes narrow a little bit at you. Yeah, sure. Okay. Steps outside again.
You okay? You got any questions I can answer?
No questions you can answer. It closes the door behind him.
I look over at Schuler and say, there's no way, scientifically, that not only would our temperatures be this low, but on top of that, every single one of our readings is decimal point exact. And on top of that, we've tested the calibration of the equipment.
Is there like a wall first aid kit in here?
Yeah.
Can I go open it and grab the thermometer out of that and just do the tests again, like making sure it's not a equipment malfunction?
Run it as many times as you want. You're going to get the exact same temperature.
Great. All right. I think we should review all the things that the data we got from the autopsy and what Dempsey brought back. And when we reconvene tonight, I think we can come up with an excuse to lose our escorts for a few minutes so we can fill everybody in.
I agreed. The sooner the better, because we can't wait for another event to happen, because who knows what's going to happen if that occurs again. It has something to do with that, obviously, because this is just, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if another thing like that's going to happen, maybe we should come up with a little system so I know that you've kind of lost your mind and not in the right mindset. You know, maybe like every minute or so, we'll just touch bases while we're working in the lab.
Ask me about violin sonatas.
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
I like violin sonatas. So if I don't mention anything about that and you're checking in with me, assume I've been compromised.
All right.
What about you?
I mean, I talk all the time. If I stop talking, then you know something's probably wrong.
Fair enough.
Let's get to it.
Yeah, so this medical research and the interviews took about 2 hours, give or take, type of thing. We're rolling up around, we'll probably say 10-ish a.m. by now. Major Dempsey, you've managed to collect yourself by now. You've confirmed that something strange is going on. Mardlow and Schuler, do you kind of reconvene back to start going over the data? Do you meet up with the Blue Fly team to dispatch them? What's next?
I'm going to go start looking over the data. I've got no interest in trying to manage a military team. It's not my field of expertise.
Sure. Is there any interest on your end, Merlo, or no?
No, I don't have anything to add on that.
Yeah, so Major Dempsey, as you're emerging from the morgue, still kind of in the hazmat suit, maybe slowly kind of pulling it off at that point. Major Farrell approaches you. He's dressed more or less the same, kind of looks at you. I was instructed to provide you with 3 Blue Fly personnel. I have selected them from a team. They are prepared to go at your word. Would you care to dispatch them ASAP?
I take a breath to collect myself and just slowly exhale. My apologies. You've caught me a little off guard. Yes. I take a deep breath and exhale. Sorry, clearing my mind. Yes. The city of Willis is still unsearched. I would like for a team to go look through that. I also would need someone to go to the lake and collect some water samples as well as some not deep sea recordings, but I need to hear some recordings from the middle of the lake as well, if I could.
Understood. I'm not sure we have any equipment to record inside the lake, as you put it, but I can see what personnel we can provide for that. I've also heard word that there was a 911 call placed. Would it be worth having personnel track down any local sheriff or law enforcement personnel to question them and confirm they are not in any way suspicious about the ongoing situation here?
Where was the 911 call placed?
He looks at you kind of confused. Are you feeling okay, ma'am? It was placed by Eddie Thorpe. It was part of his intake paperwork. Part of why he was initially detained was the 911 call.
Got you. Understood. My understanding was that the 911 call happened just right now.
I understand your confusion, ma'am. You do look a tad frazzled. I know this is all overwhelming, but I expected from a fellow military personnel you'd be somewhat used to this type of situation. Although I will admit to the kind of gestures at the morgue, whatever's going on in there being just horrific.
Yes, I will need someone just to do a small favor, just to at least calm the detainees. I would like a personal affect just collected of Amanda Thorpe. Unfortunately, she is present in the morgue, so this is at least a human thing to do in all of this hubbub. But
He
otherwise,
looks at you confused. He kind of raises his hand, confused look on his face. Ma'am, the detainees have been released.
how long ago?
Looks at his watch. I would say an hour, 45 minutes ago, shortly after your departure.
Shortly after my departure into the morgue?
Kind of looks at you. Unless there was a stop between where we were holding them and here, then yes, that is the correct path that you followed.
Yes, I just interviewed them an hour ago. And then they were released immediately after the interview, is what I'm confirming?
I was informed by Agent Harris that their purpose was fulfilled and they were being released. Processing was complete.
Where did you release them to?
That was not my discretion, ma'am. That was handled by Agent Harris's men.
Understood. No, we do not need to... Do you have the transcript of the 911 call?
Shakes his head. Ma'am, we have not intervened with 911 just yet. We have not had any personnel stop by that we had to deal with. We have not pursued that lead as of right now.
Gotcha. And then, at least if anything, what was the 911 call about? I might be able to just handle this myself, or I will delegate that to the Blue Fly.
Are you feeling okay, ma'am? It was obviously about the fact that we were denying Eddie Thorpe entrance into the town of Willis at the perimeter.
That was it? Okay, never mind. Then nothing. I thought it was for something else. My apologies. I just have not had a good amount of sleep, and the cold is a little bit of a sudden shock to what I'm normally used to in Las Vegas. So my apologies. I will go and collect my data and go over my data right now.
Are you feeling okay, ma'am? It's been increasingly pleasant here, despite the weather conditions.
I will agree with you on that. I did have an unexpected morning jog that helped clear my head a little bit, but hold up. What is the current temperature at the moment?
Blizzard's still happening, so somewhere below freezing, but not like sub-zero.
I'm realizing that I am just kind of at my regulars. Yes, it's pleasant.
I mean, like, it's a little bit cold outside, but not like 32 degrees cold outside.
Huh.
Right, so as you're kind of standing there looking flustered at all this information, ma'am, if the instructions are to have the Blue Fly team investigate the town of Willis and to have one of them reach out to the local law authority to see what's been confirmed on their end, anything else?
That's it. You are dismissed. Thank you.
Understood. Thank you. I'll deploy the team. They'll report back to you sometime after they're done with their sweep. Anything of note we should keep an eye out for?
Yes. You have, by any chance, of cameras or a record of who was inside the morgue within the past hour?
Scratches his head. Ma'am, that is not something I would necessarily have access to. I suspect if you ask the guards who has been through the morgue, they might be able to tell you, but that's not exactly my area of expertise or interest.
All right. Thank you. I will call you if I need you. At this point, my goal is to find out who's been inside this morgue and then arm myself. I will be attempting to find a firearm.
That's gonna be hard.
A knife.
Knife's doable.
All right.
And like you can go grab a scalpel out of the morgue or something like that. That's a knife.
Oh, perfect. I will have a scalpel. I think that's going to be good. I will just have a scalpel on me.
Sure. So you're going to go ask the guard about entrance and exits to the morgue?
Yeah, I'm going to find the guard that was posted at the morgue and question them.
So the guard confirms that maybe someone snuck in during the whole confusion and whatnot, but the only kind of registered people that entered the morgue were Dr. Medlow and Dr. Schuler the night before.
I'm going to go find Medlow and Schuler.